awkward weirdness.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we are live. Woohoo! Okay, so sounds a go, videos a go, and we're on YouTube. Now to cue in the official intro. You guys ready?
You are listening to Musician Today's weekly podcast from the Urban Info. Tune in for your insight into a professional musician's life and awesome new music.
Alright, hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Musician Today. Today with us we have an amazing guest all the way from UK, so I can't wait to introduce her and her fantastic music that I've been watching and just like in awe of the amazing genre that she has created. So we have today TANYA CRACKNELL as the Grime Violinist, and she collaborates with MCs and producers in the grime scene as a writer and recording artist, as well as performing for music videos, brand collaborations, and live shows. TANYA has appeared in multiple videos with Lethal Bizzle, DEE, JME, P Money, Maxwell D, Asher D, Young Tribez, I'm sorry if I'm not saying it right, and many more. So she has performed live with artists including Gigs, Mr. Eazi, Lowkey, Fazer, Lykes and Lioness. She has performed around the world at festivals such as Glastonbury, Wireless, Wilderness, and Boomtown, at venues including the Royal Albert Hall, Southbank Centre, Koko, Roundhouse and Hammersmith Apollo. Plus, she appeared on BBC, ITV, SBTV and Channel 4 on the Big Narstie Show. So the Grime Violinist also performs for private events. You can book her, and clients include Game of Thrones actress Natalie Manuel and former England footballer Eniola Aluko. Recent brand collaborations include Vodafone, Coca-Cola, Boohoo, and LS. To discuss a brand collaboration, you can always contact TANYA. But first of all, we're going to talk about how she grew up in a musical family. TANYA started playing the violin at the age of 7. She graduated from UEA with a first-class honors in music bachelor with honors, but decided to break away from the classical scene soon after, preferring to play the music she listened to and raved to. So TANYA has been a recording artist for hip-hop, soul, house, and pop music, but her love of grime and the energy of the UK music scene drew her solo career into becoming the grime violinist that we know today. So following the success of Instagram videos of TANYA playing her favorite music, grime tracks, she can now be found joining grime cyphers, radio sets, raves, and studio sessions alongside collaborations with the biggest names in the industry. In September of 2018, she became the first violinist in the world to release an EP of grime instrumentals, which is regularly played on platforms including BBC One Extra and at clashes worldwide. So TANYA's future plans include recording an album of collaborations, creating a grime violinist sample library, education program, and representing the live sound of London to new audiences across the globe. Wow, I'm out of breath already. TANYA is also involved with music charities, Young Urban Arts Foundation, and Lyrics Organics, working with young people inspired by music. And before we go on any further, you can always find TANYA on her website, thegrimeviolinist.co.uk, Instagram at /thegrimeviolinist, Facebook at /thegrimeviolinist, Twitter /grimeviolinist, and on YouTube, find her by The Grime Violinist and listen to her EP. She's on Spotify and it's amazing, amazing collection of records, so you guys have to go check it out. And welcome TANYA, how are you?
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm very well.
Great, we're so excited to have you here too. What you do is so interesting and so unique. I just absolutely had to share it with our fan base because it's something that I feel like I've had affinity to my whole life, but I could not put it together in the word. And so how do you describe your style? Like, how did it come to be? What brought you to this kind of unique brand that you have, the Grime Violinist?
Okay, well, I started off playing classical. Studied classically, as you mentioned there in my biography. Left university knowing how to play the violin, but only knowing how to play other people's music on the violin.
Yeah.
So I was kind of lacking that creativity because I think I have some composition in me because both my parents are guitarists, and my mother actually writes guitar pieces and books and things like that. And I thought, I just don't want to be spending my life playing what other people tell me to in the style that other people tell me to.
Yes.
So I decided to kind of switch it and sort of started improvising over the music that I was enjoying at the time. And then basically just uploaded one of those a few years ago onto Instagram. I don't know, I can't remember, it was one of the classic grime rhythm. And then kind of went from there. People really seemed to like that. I don't think there was anyone else doing that kind of thing much. And I kind of took it from there.
That's amazing. Wow. So has it been an easy journey, or there been a lot of challenges on the way? As in like figuring out what you're doing? Because like, oh, there's so many things that you like. How did you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been sort of, I wouldn't say I found it hard because I love it. It's definitely, it's hard work, but it's not a slog because I love absolutely sort of every day that I do this sort of, I feel so lucky to be able to now do this sort of for my living. When I first started doing it, I had a normal 9 to 5, I was doing it just for fun on the side. And now I get to do it for my living, and I get to play non-classical music every day. So, and I get to write my own stuff, collaborate with some amazing people. And yes, I don't find it hard at all because I love it.
Absolutely, I totally agree. When you do what you love, it's just like time just flies by.
Yes.
All right, why don't we have a listen to one of your tracks? This is Swan Lake. It's a short one, but I feel like it's gonna create a bridge between the classical and what we do today. Okay, are you guys ready? Here we go.
Thank you.
So I love the beat, and I love the combination of like the famous classical tune set to this beat. That it just gives it a totally different perception.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of a new sort of strain of things I'm doing. That beat was actually produced by my boyfriend called Nat Powers, an amazing producer.
Nice.
And we're going to sort of keep going with that idea of using classical melodies and weaving it into grime. Before now, I sort of haven't used other people's melodies like that, but I think there's definitely there's a market for that, and I just think it's really interesting to bring it into sort of the modern day.
Absolutely, yes. I find that's a great sort of like mix where a lot of people can enjoy this. So classical musicians would still enjoy this, I think. And yeah. Totally.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope there's a double PR campaign to be had there.
Wow, so you are the only violinist who has an instrumental EP of grime music. That's amazing.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, absolutely. I think that I think I'm the only person focusing on grime at the moment, and yes, I was for that EP, which was released in November 2018. I collaborated with a different producer on each track. Got into the studio with them, and we literally just created, and it was amazing. It was a great project. I really enjoyed it.
That's fantastic. I can't wait to listen to all of it, like binge listen to it. So how do you usually go about creating a track? Like, do you throw ideas around with your team, or do you just have like sort of an idea and you set it to a beat, or yeah, what's your process on that?
I definitely use a basic beat as reference. So either producer will have a sort of a skeleton beat, and I will then write over it. I tend to find that the first idea that I have is the right one. As soon as I hear a beat, I have to have my voice recorder on straight away, and the first thing that I play to it is usually the right one. If I'm labouring too much over it, it's not quite, it's not working so well. So sometimes, well, most of the time, the writing process is actually really quick. So for the main melody anyway. And then there's obviously different sections, B sections, C sections, little breakdowns and things like that go into a normal instrumental or track. And it's sort of, it is a collaborative process.
Amazing. Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, I can relate to the fact that writing itself is kind of a quicker part of it, but it's the production afterwards that takes a lot of hours.
Yeah, the arrangement. And obviously, although like I focus mainly on grime, I do some string writing for other genres. So it's sometimes a producer would literally just want violins during a certain section, and then I will just work on that and layer it up. Sometimes people just want that lush string sound, rather than something edgy. I think the edginess is what I prefer to write, and I think that's what stands me apart from other violinists. But there's always time for luscious string writing.
Yes, definitely. That's where it comes from, yeah. The power. The one that makes us cry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I have this theory that like strings kind of are so emotive to people, and I think it's because we can manipulate the sound to be quite like a voice with the vibrato and the sort of the glissandos between the notes. It's sort of quite vocal, and therefore I think kind of hits people on a very personal note. I don't know if there's any science behind that, but that's my theory, and I'm going to go with it.
Yeah, that's true. What I would like to play next, I think, is the Grime Violinist Duplicit Grime Wire. Okay?
Cool. Yeah, that's a track produced by Dexplicit. Yes.
Yeah, nice. Excellent. All right, so we're going to enjoy that. You guys ready? Here we go. high energy, and I love it how there's like a never dull moment, and just when you think it's going to slow down, it keeps going.
Yeah, it's relentless, that one. Yeah, it was kind of,
Nice.
there's a music video on YouTube, on my
Yes.
YouTube channel for that, and I also used that track as a challenge last year, and I had loads of people jumping on, showing me their sort of lyrics and uploading it on Instagram. It was really fun.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I bet it's so fun to do that, especially in like a live setting, like if there was a contest or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, it's crazy. You think, wow, cool, something that I created is inspiring other people's creativity as well. That's like the coolest thing ever.
It is, absolutely. I love it. And there was a moment where I was like, oh, it has dynamic contrast. You know, that's something you rarely hear actually in produced music. Usually it's all like leveled to one and the same sort of dynamics, right? Especially
thank you.
Yeah, so I like that. I like the crescendos. That was pretty cool. I think it's the first time we have something like that happen on our show, because it's interesting.
Good, I like to switch it up a bit, you know, that's what I'm here for.
So doing all these amazing things you do, being a performer, producing your own music, how do you manage your day? Like, do you find time to practice? What's your normal schedule like?
You know what, every time I've just come back from holiday, and every holiday I make plans to practice more.
Yeah.
And then when you get back into it, it's sort of practice equals preparing for the next thing. You know?
Yeah.
You know, it's not like being back at uni where you can, spend hours in the practice room because you're on your student loan.
Yeah.
It's kind of, life is hectic, and everything is preparing for the next performance or the next writing session or, the next video on Instagram or whatever. So it's more like that. But I think because I sort of push myself to put more and more complex things into the things that I write, I'm kind of pushing myself on my practice anyway through that to be able to record it. Some of the things I've written before, I can't play when I'm writing them, but I practice them so I can play them, and therefore that's bettering my skills.
Absolutely, I agree. That's the same here. Like when I'm producing an album, and every time I come up with an idea, I'm like, oh, that'd be easy. And then once we get to the studio, we have to kind of work on it, make sure that it's articulated.
But it feels so good once you've done it. And I think that's one of the things that for violin anyway, most of the training to do those sort of things, trickier things like string crossing and tricky scale fingering and things like that. It's all very classical, and it's something that I'm eager to bring a change to, and at some point wanting to bring out a study book anyway of sort of studies for that kind of technique that don't involve music that's very classical or hundreds of years old, so more based around the grime thing. So watch out for that in the future.
Can't wait. I'm definitely gonna get that book. I'm all for technique, and I find it too, like when you're practicing in a classical way, it's just like your mind gets bored. You have to take it to the next level. You have to,
if you've got a grime beat behind you, like egging you on, it's gonna be a better.
Nice. Okay. All right. So, before I play my next song, I wanted to ask you, what has an electric violin done to your sound? Like, do you usually record on electric? And how was it switching from acoustic to electric? What's your thought on that?
You know what? I always record on acoustic because I think the tone is so much better. I never record on electric. I only use electric for live event performances. Because the sound engineers can cope with it a little bit more because it's a bit more like an electric guitar, I think, for them. It's less temperamental for feedback and things like that. And also because I can plug in headphones, meaning that if the monitoring isn't great on stage, I can at least hear myself by plugging my an earphone into my ear and playing to myself as well as to everyone else. So that's literally, it's a very practical thing, although it also looks really cool. It's a very practical thing playing electric violin live. But for writing and recording and most things, I would play classical acoustic violin just for the warmth of tone, and because I grew up playing it. Very kindly, Yamaha Music gave me my electric violin, so I'm really excited to play around with that a bit more. I'm excited to start using some pedals and stuff with that, but for pure writing and back creativity, it's back to the old school for me.
Nice, that's amazing. I can relate to that. To some things I prefer the acoustic. Yeah. It does have definitely more expressive range, because there's some techniques, some extended techniques that you can't translate to digital. That's true.
Yes.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Well, why don't we listen to Lang Ming, the Grime Violinist, and Nat Powers?
Nat Powers, yeah, go for it.
All right, here we go. Wow, love it. This one definitely gets me ready to go like to battle. I'm ready to fight.
Yeah, funny. I think sort of it's got it. To me, this one's got the most sort of classical sounding influences in a way. I think maybe because amazing producer Nat Power's father's actually sort of was a classical conductor, and I think you can really hear that in his work. And also it's sort of the different sections, it's much more broken up than a lot of the tracks on the EP, which are just, they're relentless, you know, that's got really lots of ebbs and flows. And actually that, along with some of the other tracks, will be re-released next year with vocals as full tracks, so watch out for those.
Wow, looking forward to it. Excellent. All right, well, I think it is time for us to play our little game. So if you're up for it, we're gonna do a little bit of like a rapid fire, and so we have a countdown here, which is pretty badass too. So as soon as you go 3, 2, 1, I'm gonna read out the first question to you. We're gonna have 10 questions, and we have to answer them in under a minute. Are you ready?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Let me get that countdown down. Yay! Okay, and of course, okay. What was your most memorable performance?
Performing at Wilderness Festival this year with full orchestra.
Yay! At what age did you pick up violin?
Pick up the violin 7.
Yay! How many instruments do you own?
Too many violins. I own 5, but only play 2.
All right. Violin, acoustic or electric? What's your favorite?
Acoustic.
Okay. What motivates you?
What motivates you? There's so many things. Literally just creativity. There's nothing else I can do. It's in me.
Amazing.
It's self creativity.
Awesome. Which YouTuber you just can't stop watching?
Which YouTuber? It's nothing to do with music, but my best friend is Rihanna, who runs Nutrition, and it's all about healthy eating. I'm a big fan of healthy eating and healthy living and stuff like that.
Fantastic.
So there we go, Nutrition, go and check it.
I love that too. That's amazing. Now, what's your favorite song to cover? Name 3.
Sorry, did you say
3
name what? Sorry?
favorite songs to cover. Do you like to cover songs?
Yes, yeah, I do it all the time on my Instagram.
Yeah.
So my favourite, and I think everyone else's favourite, is Toast by Coffee. And I was lucky enough to shoot the video for that in Jamaica last year. Oh no, this year I think.
Nice.
I like covering stuff by Stormzy and DW.
Nice, amazing. Name 3 people that you admire.
My parents and my boyfriend.
Amazing, that's great.
That's 3, by the way.
Yes. Dogs or cats?
Don't make me choose.
I know.
And literally, I'm obsessed with both, and I'm really desperate to have a pet. And with my lifestyle, I can't. So I'm going to say cats because I've wanted one since I was tiny.
Right. Then name 3 violinists that you follow on Instagram.
Oh, you know what? Not embarrassing, but I don't actually follow that many violinists on Instagram. The reason being that, apart from my closest friends, the reason being is that I kind of want to be doing my own thing without looking to other people, you know? Comparing yourself is never a good thing. And I know that there's no one doing exactly what I am, but I also want to make sure that even if I do a cover and someone else has done a cover of the same song, that I'm not influenced by it. So I really don't follow that many apart from my personal close people.
You know, that's amazing. My friend Bridget O'Regan does the same thing. She's a viral YouTuber and she's Toronto based. And so I agree with you guys. There's a point at which you don't want to have too much kind of outside influence to create something.
Yeah, I think creative is very personal, and I think social media is a bit scary to be messing with that.
Well, okay, way to go. Thank you for playing. We did make it in under a minute, but that's okay. Most people don't, because I asked too big of questions.
I have rambles, so yeah, we're screwed.
All right, amazing. So, before we go, I would also like to ask you one big what would be the piece of advice that you would give to a younger performer who wants to do what you do, who wants to enter the grime scene, who wants to produce their own music, and
I would say, as I said just before about social media, don't look towards what other people are doing. Find your niche and make sure it's what you love. Don't do grime because it's popping right now. Don't do whatever genre that you want to do because someone's told you to. Find what you absolutely love, and you can switch anything on its head. You know, I wasn't expecting to do this when I was learning classical violin, but my two loves are classical violin and grime music, and it just kind of works. So that works for me, but it won't work for other people because that might not be their love. So follow whatever you're passionate about, and just don't stop.
That's amazing. Thank you, Tanya. I completely agree. It sums it up.
Cool.
So when someone is facing a challenge, like, they should look for solutions inside themselves, right? Instead of trying to be like, oh, they're doing this and this artist is doing that, and
I think yes, the sort of the younger generations are going to find that very hard. I grew up, like, when I was young, there wasn't social media, so I can kind of look outside it. At the moment, you know, if I grew up with social media as a young person, I think I would find it very hard to step outside it. So just advice to do that, and also, you know, just to not be on it the whole time and not watch other people the whole time. Just you know, you always hear those quotes of people saying, oh, I was about to give up and then I didn't, and then that's when I blew, or that's when I sort of made whatever you want, you know, your money or your fame or whatever, you know. So just definitely not giving up is the key.
That's true. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Tanya. You guys, go find Tanya on her website at thegrimeviolinist.com. I'm sorry. Wow. The Grime Violinist. I'll do it again. Okay. The Grime Violinist at .co.uk. On Instagram, follow her at the Grime Violinist. On Facebook at the Grime Violinist. On Twitter at Grime Violinist. Find her fantastic videos on YouTube. Search her up by Grime Violinist and find her EP. She's on Spotify as well, and this is amazing music, that the kind that you've never guys heard before, and it just moves you. So thank you, Tanya. We're so excited to have you here. Thank you for joining us. And
thank you so much for
I would
me.
be so happy to have you back on the show when you have your next step in your next album or next project or a next song or video coming out. So we'll get back in touch and you can tell us all about it then. How does that sound?
Okay, perfect. Yeah,
Perfect.
Next year there's some mad big things happening next year. So definitely stay in touch.
Yeah, 2020 is going to be big for everyone.
Yes, it's got that ring to it, hasn't it? 2020, yes.
2020, that's
vision,
true.
Like, it's popping off. Yeah.
We should write a song together and call it 2020.
2020, come on, yes. Cross the sea.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And we're going to close this show with one more track by the Grime Violinist. This is going to be Warning, the Grime Violinist Outsider. Thank you, Tanya. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.